WXII 12 News at 5 starts right now.
Pressure continues to mount on both sides of the aisle against the Trump administration's separation policy at the U.S.-Mexico border, who President Trump plans to meet with today to talk about immigration reform.
A Winston-Salem home catches fire while a family is on vacation. I'm Mallory Lane, live with the details coming up.
And UNCG will soon offer something called RAD classes. Why campus police say it's important for women in the area to attend. And good morning. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kimberly Van Scoy. Devontae has the morning off.
I'm Brianna Connor. I would not want to mess with those women.
No.
Going on.
You are right about that.
Let's start you off with a look at the weather. As you know, the heat wave continues in the Triad. Some people who have to work outside are finding creative ways to stay cool. This is a worker at a Chick-fil-A on Knollwood Street, and they've got this shady contraption you see over their heads while taking orders during the lunch rush hour. We took this picture yesterday. One of the best parts, it is hands-free.
You know that they were still sweating like crazy,
I wonder
though.
if it's got some type of reflector like on the top of it.
It'd be
I'm
nice
imagining
if it had
maybe
a fan and mist.
Yeah, a mister.
Michelle, I think we just need to create that. I'm sure somebody has.
Yeah, actually, when they're out in the line, I don't know if you've seen it when we've done some of the food drives with them before. They're standing in line helping to take the orders, and they do have a fan with mist running out there because
that's good.
It's really tough to keep cool in these high humidity kind of days. So not a bad idea, right? I'm sure there are all kinds of other contraptions that folks have created at home. Maybe a little duct tape with a fan and some water. You never know what folks come up with, but we're definitely looking at shower chances that are going to continue to build through the afternoon. We're also looking at some very active weather down over the Texas Gulf Coast area, and this moisture will lift our way, a little bit of it, heading into the next few days, in addition to active weather to our north and west. We're going to be watching for that front to sink south and impact our weather heading into Thursday and Friday. Today even we'll have a greater risk of a few more storms. 71 in Cincinnati, 76 in D.C., 76 right now in the Triad as you're walking out the door, and you've got those dew points. They're holding in the upper 60s, low 70s. This is really a good measure of just how much moisture we have to work with today, and this is what helps to make us feel much more uncomfortable when you combine it with those 90s later on. Aloft, we've got that heat helping us out with that ridge of high pressure. So these are temperatures as we look aloft, and at the surface, we've got some corresponding ridges of high pressure that have been helping us out, and you've got that low that'll dive in heading into your afternoon, the afternoon hours on your Friday, and then heading into Monday, another little cool break for us. By cool, I mean at least out of the 90s, just a touch. So not terribly chilly and no major extremes in the weather right now. You're at 93 to 95 later this afternoon in Raleigh, and 91 around at 2:30 in the Triad. You've got those thunderstorm possibilities. Now, if we get those storms developing earlier, it could keep our temperatures down. It could keep us feeling a little bit better than where we were yesterday. Upper 90s century mark for a lot of folks for feels like temps. Now you're looking at those showers and storms for Thursday also becoming more active. And today we do have a risk of isolated severe storms. So we'll be talking more about it, but you take a look at your 7-day forecast. We break it down by Wednesday and Thursday, talking about good storm chances by Thursday into Friday with measurable rain of 1 to 2 inches at least.
All right, thank you, Michelle. Happening right now, a busy part of Stratford Road is back open in time for the morning rush hour drive.
It was closed as firefighters battled a house fire last night. Our Mallory Lane's live in Winston-Salem. Mallory, there are still a lot of questions surrounding this fire. What can you tell us?
Well, officials tell us that this family was away on vacation when the fire started. The Red Cross will be available to them when they do get back home. Take a look at this video. It's from the scene last night. The call came in just after 8:30. Crews say flames were visible on the side of the house when they arrived on scene. Part of Stratford Road was shut down for several hours. Right now, the cause of the fire is still under investigation. Reporting live, Mallory Lane, WXII 12 News.
Thank you, Mallory. This morning, we're learning the name of the teenager who was killed in a crash in Davidson County on Monday night. Authorities say 16-year-old Haley Wallace was driving on Old Holloway Church Road near High Rock Lake when she ran off the road, hit a ditch, and then slammed into a tree. Authorities say she wasn't wearing a seatbelt and was thrown from the vehicle. State troopers say speed played a role in the crash.
Right now, a man in High Point is facing an attempted murder charge in connection to a home invasion in Thomasville. His bond is set at $5 million. On June 11th, officers went out to Fisher Ferry Street in reference to a breaking and entering call. When they got there, they found a man who'd been shot. Witnesses told investigators that 5 men with guns forced their way inside and started shooting. They took off when the victim grabbed his own shotgun and fired back. After processing the scene, officers learned that Karan Lynch had been dropped off at the Thomasville Medical Center. They say he was involved in that home invasion and had been shot in the chest. Investigators are still looking for the 4 other accomplices.
A Hamptonville man is behind bars this morning accused of sexually abusing a child. Yadkin County deputies say 44-year-old Raldo Padilla is charged with 3 felonies, including indecent liberties with a child and crime against nature. He is expected in court next week. Well, UNCG police are encouraging women to take part in a rape aggression defense class. They'll learn self-defense techniques, how to strike, and how to get out of a situation if they end up on the ground. Those classes are spread out over a few days. They last 12 hours total.
Getting that empowerment to take care of themselves and to know that they shouldn't depend on weapons or other people to keep themselves safe, that they can do that themselves.
Now, instructors recommend that women over the age of 13 take this class. You can sign up online, and it starts on September 18th.
Right now on WXI 12, the city of Greensboro has approved a nearly $544 million budget for the 2018-2019 fiscal year. Property tax rates are going to stay the same for the 9th year in a row, but city leaders say the water and sewer rate will go up by 3.5% starting July 1st. Some city employees will also see their pay increase to $15 an hour.
Looking ahead, Governor Roy Cooper will be in Guilford County this afternoon. He's going to sign Build NC into law at the DOT maintenance yard in McLeansville at 2:30. That law provides funding for road construction over the next 10 years. Well, next on WXII 12, a massive fight breaks out at a girls' softball tournament in Tennessee. What authorities say started it all, and the parents' connection to the Piedmont. Plus,
I'm Nicole Killian in Washington, where the president meets again with lawmakers as the border crisis intensifies. Can it be fixed? What both sides are saying coming up.
And good morning to you. I hope you're having a great Wednesday so far. If you're just waking up, you're going to wake up to some pretty comfortable conditions. Really outside now, you can see the haze in the air too. We have not lost that humidity. Temperatures, however, continue to climb back into the 90s today. We also now have a risk for a thunderstorm that may become severe. We're looking at 1 or 2 of these storms that could produce some damaging winds and certainly some heavy rain. We don't have a ton of wind going on out there to help move these storms along, so you're going to have what we call those slow movers, the ones that drop in good totals for you in the range of 1 to 2 inches at times. Also some frequent lightning, so we're going to be watching if you're in the pools today or out at the water parks. You definitely want to make sure you're listening for that thunder and also checking radar with us, because some of those lightning bolts will jump from those thunderstorms a good distance away, up to 10 miles. So we want you to be cautious and aware if you're going to be out in the water or outdoors at all today. And hopefully keeping cool if you do. Look at this, 94 degrees in the Piedmont Triad, 91 in the foothills, and your rain chances at 40% for folks in the mountains today, just a touch better with 85 there from yesterday. We'll have much more for you, and take a look at the 7-day. It's coming up.
And checking in on the morning commute, here's a live look at Business 40 near Highway 66 in Kernersville. Count them, 1, 2, just a few cars out right now. Certainly no delays, no crashes either. If we happen to notice anything going on outside that could make you late today, we'll tell you about it on air and online. You can follow us on Twitter at WXII. It's 5:11. We'll be right back.
Your WXII 12 forecast is always available on the free WXII 12 app. Stay connected with meteorologist Michelle Kennedy on her Facebook page.
All right, it's Wednesday, it's June 20th, and we are heading out the door to still high humidity, and we've got temperatures at 76 degrees in Greensboro, 77 in Winston-Salem. Now, yesterday we felt more like the single digits. Today, with 94 degrees, we're going to have some clouds building for the afternoon, so mid and upper 90s, but not quite the lower 100s like some folks experienced yesterday in the northern Piedmont and out and toward Burlington and Greensboro. 91 in the foothills, a rain chance of 30%. You've got 85 in the mountains, so even there we're seeing those temperatures drop off just a couple of degrees or so. And that's going to help us feel just a little bit better, along with that cloud cover and those thunderstorm chances today too. 86 is a typical target high for this time of the year. And look at where our heat indices are going again today, well into the lower 100s. If you're heading out to the beaches, be aware that you've got heat advisories still there through the afternoon hours. And by tomorrow, we should see some improving conditions, hopefully with better rain and storm coverage. But you're looking at those high heat indices around the Triad, well below the heat advisory criteria today. We still are going to feel more like the low to mid-90s to upper 90s at times. So be prepared for that. Mountains and foothills a little bit better for you today too. Hour by hour forecast, we'll take those shower chances, developing them as we go into 1 o'clock. We may begin to see some of those storm clouds grow and build, and the clouds get a little bit dark for you, and then those thunderstorms start to pop as we head into 3 and 4 o'clock. Better coverage, and you can see that it's still a little bit spotty. So we've got rain chances at 30% for you right now. We're looking at those low to mid 90s as we head east of Mount Airy and North Wilkesboro, still holding on to the 90s into the early evening hours. So we don't get a huge help from the storms today as much as we will by tomorrow. Marginal risk for severe weather from the Triad through Raleigh and up through Roanoke. We're talking about those winds, the possibilities of very heavy rains too, and some frequent lightning. Your dew points still in the upper 60s to low 70s the next couple of days. The only change will be the cloud cover, helping us feel just a touch better. Anytime you're in the shade, it feels so much better. And scattered storm chances for you remain at 30% today. Better rain chances Thursday and Friday, and still into the weekend on Saturday.
Thanks, Michelle. Now to our Washington newsroom, where pressure is building on lawmakers to stop the new practice of separating families at the southern border.
And he is going to meet with them today. Nicole Killian is live in our Washington newsroom. You met with lawmakers last night, right?
Good morning to you. Yeah, that's right. And the president once again meeting with lawmakers again today at the White House.
These are laws that have been broken for many years, decades, but we had a great meeting. Thank you very much.
The president stood firm on his controversial immigration policy as he emerged from a meeting with House Republicans at the Capitol. They say the president brought up his daughter Ivanka, who told him the images of kids being separated from their families looks bad. As lawmakers in both chambers work on fixes, some say the president could end the problem himself.
So, Mr. President, have a heart for a change. Take that pen of yours and do away with this horrendous, inhumane policy of yours.
Well, votes could come up in the House on immigration as early as tomorrow. Back to you.
Now you see this debate getting very, very passionate. Nicole, before you go, can you tell us more about tomorrow's votes?
Well, keep in mind that this is on a much broader immigration packages. So there's two bills. One is conservative, one is from more moderate Republicans, essentially designed to address another hot button issue, which is the issue of Dreamers. So House Republicans did, however, rush to add on a provision that would allow these children to stay with their parents by loosening up some of the rules guiding their detentions. Meantime, even if this does end up clearing the House tomorrow, if these votes move forward, it could still face an uphill battle in the Senate. Back to you.
All right, Nicole, thank you for that report. A new Quinnipiac poll reveals 66% of voters are against this new separation policy. 27% support it. Researchers also found Republicans back the president's policy. 55% support it. 35% oppose it.
The U.S. is withdrawing from the United Nations Human Rights Council. U.S. Ambassador to the UN, Nikki Haley, made that announcement just a day after the council's top official criticized the Trump administration's zero-tolerance immigration policy.
I want to make it crystal clear that this step is not a retreat from human rights commitments. On the contrary, we take this step because our commitment does not allow us to remain a part of a hypocritical and self-serving organization that makes a mockery of human rights.
Several non-governmental groups have condemned the move, saying it gives too much power to other nations like Russia and China.
Looking ahead, relatives and friends are preparing for designer Kate Spade's funeral. It's going to be held tomorrow in her hometown of Kansas City, Missouri. Spade died by suicide on June 5th, in her apartment in Manhattan. Her husband says she struggled with depression. In lieu of flowers, her family is asking for donations to be made to the ASPCA or a no-kill shelter in Kansas City.
Well, now on WXII 12, you know the saying, there's no crying in baseball. Well, there's not supposed to be fighting in softball either, but a group of parents apparently didn't get that memo, and they got into a massive fight over a call during a softball tournament. Some of those parents are from Wilkes County. Carolyn Corrigan has video of that fight that's now going viral.
It's a video that's circulating social media. It shows nearly a dozen parents throwing punches at each other during a softball tournament Saturday, an incident that had other parents shocked and outraged.
I just felt like everybody was really immature.
I just think it wasn't very appropriate. I just thought that they shouldn't be doing that in front of the children.
Leslie Hicks says her sons have played in baseball tournaments for years, and it's something she has never seen before.
I don't know what they hope to accomplish by acting like that. It didn't benefit their children anything, and it just really shows poor sportsmanship.
Tournament director Tina Gale says both teams involved in the fight were from North Carolina and immediately disqualified from the tournament and escorted out of the ballpark.
Well, I'm just thankful to hear that it wasn't parents from our area, because that would just be really disappointing. But that's unfortunate for the children. I'm a screamer at baseball games. I like to yell and scream, but I do my best to scream positive things for the kids and just encourage them. Sure, there are parents that are out of control, but for the most part, what I see locally is everybody keeps himself pretty well in check.
Next on WXII 12, players from the Greensboro Grasshoppers and the Winston-Salem Dash took their skills to the next level in All-Star games across the state yesterday. We're going to take a look at those matchups after the break. It's 5:21. You're waking up with the Triad's #1 news.
And good morning to you. We've got those temperatures out there that are going to be hot again. You're taking a look at those heat advisories in the areas of orange right along the coast. Back to the west, this is where the real action is developing for you. As we go over to Lincoln, Nebraska, we see all those showers and storms really beginning to fire up. We have severe weather threats also overhead later today in the Triad. Temperatures now in the 70s. We're walking out the door to about 76 degrees in Greensboro, 78 in Winston-Salem. And now you see the water vapor imagery showing you where we've got the best moisture sources aloft and here at the surface. Lots of activity over eastern areas of Texas, the western Gulf of Mexico. This will help to pump in some moisture from there and keeping us juicy as we go into the next few days and increasing our rainfall coverage heading into Thursday and Friday. So we've got temperatures that are in the dew point range of the low 70s. I should say our dew point temperatures in the range of the low 70s with the upper 60s. This makes us feel pretty uncomfortable. We've got plenty of moisture at the surface to keep that high humidity going. Also aloft, we've got some help. So we've been showing you that ridge of high pressure just building in, and it continues to keep us in that nice hot stretch. We get a little bit of a dip, those areas of low pressure aloft and at the surface that'll help to cool us, even if it's going to bring in those scattered shower and thunderstorm possibilities for us. It doesn't look like it's going to last long for cool breaks, I should say. So we're kind of in the summertime pattern, officially starting summer tomorrow. All right, here you go, hour by hour. As we head into the noon hour, things start to become more active. You're going to notice more clouds. As 2 and 3 o'clock come on, a few storms may be brewing, likely through 4 and 5 o'clock heading into the dinner hour. Some stronger storms with an isolated severe threat. Those low 90s still feeling like the mid and upper 90s for the Triad. And in the mountains and foothills, just a little bit better, low 90s for feels like temperatures today. 94 is your forecast high in the Triad, 90 in the Thursday, and those rain chances coming way up as we go into your Friday afternoon, cooling us off.
Well, the Stars were out in Greensboro last night.
They sure were. The Gate City hosted the South Atlantic League All-Star Baseball game. It was North versus South, with the South winning 9-5. 2 Grasshoppers were on the All-Star roster for the North, and the Hoppers will take on the Hagerstown Suns Thursday. It'll be an away game. They return to Greensboro on Sunday to host the Kannapolis Intimidators. That game will get started at 4.
And in Zebulon, 5 Winston-Salem Dash players took part in the Carolina League All-Star Classic. That game was held at the Carolina Mudcats Stadium last night. The Winston-Salem Dash finished the first half of the season with a 41-29 record. That is the best record in the Southern Division, by the way. The Dash will be back in Winston-Salem on Thursday to host the Down East Wood Ducks, and that game starts at 7. Next on WXII 12, the childhood home of a woman whose songs have been covered hundreds of times and whose careers lasted more than 40 years have been declared a national treasure, where you can check it out just a few hours from the Piedmont. It's 5:27. You're watching WXII 12 News.